Annyeong, I'm Chef Atulia. Today I'm gonna show you how to make the best vegan jjajangmyeon, so let's get started. First, we have to fry the chunjang, which is the fermented black bean paste. Black bean paste that hasn't been fried yet has a bitter and pungent flavor. And when you fry it, the bitterness and the pungency goes away and it brings out a really nice roasty, nutty flavor of the black bean paste. Into a non-stick pan, add a quarter cup or 85 grams of chunjang. Add a quarter cup or 55 grams of any kind of neutral oil of your choice. I'm using grapeseed oil. Heat the pan until the oil comes to a gentle sizzle, then lower the heat to about a medium to a medium low and fry this for about 3 to 5 minutes, occasionally giving it a stir. You want to keep the heat relatively low here because you do not want to burn the black bean paste, because if you burn it, you're not even going to be able to tell if it's burnt because the color is black. Once you're done frying this, transfer it to a heat-safe container and set it aside. We're going to make the sauce by adding 2 cups of water into a mixing bowl. Add half a teaspoon of mushroom seasoning. This is like an instant mushroom broth powder. You add this to water and it turns it into a yummy mushroom broth. Add 1 tablespoon of cornstarch so that it can help thicken up the sauce. Add half a tablespoon of sugar to balance out the saltiness of the chunjang. Add half a teaspoon of black pepper. Add all of the black bean paste that we fried earlier. Just use the paste and leave the oil. We'll use that for stir frying later. Mix the sauce thoroughly and set it aside. And don't worry if there's clumps of black bean paste left, because that's all gonna dissolve when we heat it up in the pan later. For our veg prep today, I'm gonna be using carrots, cabbage, potatoes, zucchini, and shiitake mushrooms. I'm gonna be dicing up all my vegetables into a 1/4-inch dice because jjajangmyeon is supposed to be a meaty, chunky, ragu type of sauce. So it's best to either finely chop your vegetables or chop them into a dice. Here I'm dicing up a 1/4 of a large carrot, then transferring them onto a plate. Then dice up a 1/4 of a small head of Savoy cabbage or green cabbage. Make sure to cut the core out. Slice your cabbage into 1/4-inch strips and cut the strips into a 1/4-inch dice. Then transfer your chopped cabbage onto the same plate as the carrots. Dice up 1 small Yukon Gold potato by cutting them into 1/4-inch planks. Stack up the planks and slice them through, then dice them up. Slice up half of a medium-sized zucchini on the bias. Stack up the planks and slice them through, then dice them up. Remove the stems of 3 shiitake mushrooms, then clean off any excess dirt with a pastry brush. Slice the mushrooms, then dice them up just like all the other vegetables. For my aromatics, I'm going to be finely mincing 1 teaspoon's worth of ginger. I'm also setting aside 1 teaspoon of gochugaru. This is Korean red pepper powder. It comes in a fine or coarse grind, but either one works great for this recipe. For our protein options, you can use a vegan ground meat substitute like the Impossible or the Beyond Meat, or you can use firm tofu and chop them up into a dice just like your vegetables. I'm gonna be using the Impossible burger today just because I had it in my fridge and it's going to expire soon, so I'm gonna use this up first. You only need to use 110 grams of whatever protein you're going to use for this recipe, so it's about 1/3 of a bag of this Impossible burger. Turn your heat up to a high heat. Add about a tablespoon of neutral oil. I'm just using the leftover oil from frying the black bean paste. Then add your protein of choice. If you're using a vegan ground meat substitute, then use a spatula and break down your vegan ground into a crumble. When you start to see some browning action happen on your vegan ground meat, go ahead and add your mushrooms in. If at any point your pan is looking a little bit too dry, go ahead and add a little bit of oil as you go. Stir fry the mushrooms and ground vegan meat until they're nice and golden. Then lower the heat and move them over to one side of the pan and add 1 tablespoon of oil to the other side. Add your minced ginger or any other aromatic vegetables into the oil. You want to let these aromatics infuse into the oil. Then add the gochugaru and let the gochugaru 고춧가루 infuse into the oil for a couple of seconds. Add the rest of your veggies in, turn the heat back up, and stir fry everybody together for about a minute. Mix up your jajang sauce really well, then pour it in. Stir the sauce until all of the clumps of black bean paste are gone. Bring this to a boil, then lower the heat to a gentle simmer, and we're gonna simmer this without a lid for about 20 minutes. Occasionally give it a stir, and in the meanwhile we can prep the noodles. You can find these fresh noodles at the refrigerated section at the Korean grocery store. They're so good. There's a udon jajang version, which is more traditionally used for jajangmyeon. But I really like this seng kalguksu fresh knife cut noodle version because it's a little bit thicker and chewier. I just really like this one. Go ahead and bring a pot of water to boil. Make sure your pot is big enough to accommodate how much noodles you're gonna cook in it. I'm just gonna cook up one portion of noodles today because I'm just serving myself, but the sauce recipe makes enough sauce for about 2 to 3 people. They make it really easy for you because they've already pre-portioned out the noodles. One bundle is enough for one person. Go ahead and add it into your pot of boiling water. Stir up your noodles so that they don't stick to each other, and just follow your package instructions. I mean, this one said about 5 to 6 minutes, but I always tend to try to cook them a little bit less because I love my noodles chewy and al dente. Whenever you're cooking fresh noodles, just do not walk away from the stove. The water can boil over, and if it looks like it is, just lower the heat. And also, fresh noodles cook in minutes, so you don't want to miss that magic moment when you have to take them out. As soon as you take your noodles out of the pot, go ahead and put it into a bowl of ice cold water or rinse them under the sink. These noodles, they definitely have to be rinsed thoroughly so that it drops the temperature and it stops them from cooking, and also rinses off any excess starch. Drain off all the excess water and serve your noodles immediately with some jajang sauce. Pour it all over. It's really, really good with julienne cucumbers, but I ran out of cucumbers for this shot, so just pretend that they're there. Use your chopsticks and mix your noodles until you're satisfied with the distribution of sauce onto your noodles and slurp away.
너무 맛있다. 이 짜장면은 또 먹고 또 먹어도 진짜로 맛있어. 질리지가 않아. I'm gonna try to slurp the whole noodle without breaking it. I did it! So this sauce, to me, is the perfect balance of flavors for a jajang sauce. All the vegetables are cooked perfectly. The jajang sauce is not too greasy, it's not nuki at all. You know how we added the red chili flakes? It doesn't make it spicy, but it really balances everything out. And it's not too sweet. I noticed that a lot of other jajangmyeon recipes, I don't know why they have so much sugar. This, to me, is perfection. If you guys like this jjajangmyeon recipe, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. 안녕!